Atlanta. London. Harlem. Brooklyn. Kingston. Atlanta. London. Harlem. Brooklyn. Kingston. Atlanta. London. Harlem. Brooklyn. Kingston. Atlanta. London. Harlem. Brooklyn. Kingston.
No trip around the world in GT3 machinery would be complete without a visit to this place, Watkins Glen International, one of the oldest and most historic racing venues in all of North America. Hello everyone, my name is DJ Clark, joined here in the commentary booth by David Christie, ready to get racing here on what promises to be an action-packed night of racing, with the first race lasting 25 minutes, setting up for the longer sprint race later in the night. And Watkins Glen, as we said, really a track that needs no introduction, but David, absolutely incredible stuff, good action up and down, and plenty of areas to get a pass done.
Oh, yes, indeed. Absolute privilege, as always, to come and join you guys here on the World Series League's Race Anywhere World Series. We saw some crazy action. Maybe you just saw some in the background there, but the EU split earlier on tonight, DJ, was just sublime. It had everything you wanted. High drama right at the end. We saw Simon Dodd getting sent into the stratosphere in race 2 after a very unfortunate incident, but look, there was great racing, great fighting, and all the drama you could want.
And that is what Watkins Glen always puts up here, running the full layout, including the bus stop and the boot, so that will present a lot of opportunities for the drivers. The draft going to be very crucial around here tonight. We're going to be talking a whole lot about that. But before we get into the action out on track, let's go ahead and run you through the championship situation right now as it stands. 3 races down in the books as of tonight, so only 2 being categorized thus far. But in the GT3 Pro standings, it is series organizer R.A.W.S up at the top of the charts. Jonathan Willett behind him by about 20 points or so. Jeremy R.A.W.S sits in 3rd place, followed by Dean Timms, with Dave Menino and Alex Trevor in a very close battle there for 3rd place as they run all their way back. Kai DL, a few points off there, but he is certainly within striking distance. The big surprise, I think, is Sean Campbell, who hasn't had the best run of things lately, and he finds himself about 50 or so points down in the field. But we've seen the speed out of Campbell, and he will certainly be one to watch out for tonight. Chase Wilson in 9th place, just behind Campbell, and then Shane Larson rounding out your top 10 there with 125 points. But that is obviously only one of our championships here. We do have an AM championship. We'll be bringing you that graphic here momentarily. But drivers out on track right now for a 15-minute warm-up session. Everyone having already qualified here for this race. We'll be bringing you those qualifying standings in short order as well. Only about a minute left to go here in practice before we set these mighty GT3 engines loose on Watkins Glen. And David, it does appear to be, once again, as we've been talking about this whole season long, that the Mercedes is not only the favored car, but looks like the car to beat.
Isn't it just? We were talking about that earlier on with Zach during the EU broadcast, and about how the different cars have their different personalities, and yet, the Mercedes was strong, but it was actually the BMWs that seemed to have the upper hand tonight. I don't know if that is going to be the case, but certainly the US lot, I think, will be able to absolutely wring the ultimate out of these cars in terms of performance and getting the most in terms of speed as well.
Yeah, they certainly will. Both those Mercedes and the BMW share in common a little bit of an understeery characteristic. They do have that tendency built into the car, but what that does mean is that you're really able to lean on the car a little bit more. You're able to push a little bit more for it. You've got to do just a hair more trail braking into the corner to really get that firm rotation, but you're never going to have to worry about the car fully breaking away like you would if you were in the McLaren or the Audi or the Porsche, for example. But there, the checkered flag flies in practice 1, and we are ready to go racing here as everybody lines themselves up, getting gridded and getting ready to go. And let's go ahead and bring you that starting order. Lining up in pole position, it will be Sean Campbell and R.A.W.S lining up in the front row, as they have done many a time this season. Alex Trevor will be behind them with Kyle Boss to his outside. Chris Long and Jeremy R.A.W.S will be in 6th, with Reese Newburn and Will Lindley in row 4. Row 5 will be Dave Menino and Chase Wilson, followed by Kai DL and James Howard. Then it's going to be Thomas Fisher lining up behind them in 15th, and in 16th it will be Dean Timms. Lining up behind them, it looks like we do have A couple of things getting shifted around there just a little bit, but there we run down through the meat of the AM field. Casey Metzger and Michael Kulaga lining up 5th and 6th in class, with Jeff Carollo and Fabian Ponce in 8th, Eric Kulaga in 9th, Andrew Rasmussen in 10th, Brandon Mayling and Charles Bichelle lining up behind them. Julian Delano and Eric Blumenkrantz, followed by Michael Fowler and Drew Neubauer as we continue to work our way down through the field. Then we do have Matthew Plaisance and John Casey, Daniel Floria, Andrew Hewitt, and James Hebb lining out your 21-car field for the amateur drivers. And so it is going to be a big field out here today. And I don't think we're going to have to worry about it nearly as much in the in the early on race here, David. But I think certainly we are going to have to worry a little bit about some lap traffic when we get into that 50-minute race.
Yeah, that's certainly what we saw early on. We get a wonderful aerial shot here of both the different classes coming up here. We'll be able to get a proper grid up just very shortly. But yeah, look, it does add a nice little mix, especially when you add in any incidents or collisions that send the cars, hurtling down through the order. It's a fairly short lap here, about 1 minute 40, 1 minute 50. So yeah, those cars are going to be tripping up over themselves very soon.
Yes, they will. And the other thing to keep in mind there is you talk about the potential for incidents and accidents is those baby blue guardrails all around this track. One of the features of Watkins Glen. There's not a whole lot of room for error, and especially in this area that we see them running through right now from the 90 up to the S's, we have seen some track blockages occur if contact does happen there. There is a little bit more runoff around this circuit than there used to be, specifically coming down here through the outer loop, but especially once you get down into the boot itself, it is a very close quarters action.
Yeah, and just while we've been doing that, we actually do have... There we go, there's the updated grid. So it is still Sean Campbell, but it's actually Tenorio. Dan Tenorio slips in to 6th place. That was the bit that I want to draw your attention to there, as well as down towards the AM category as well. Shreyas Venkatacharu actually on pole position for the AM grid as well. I think it's kind of a testament, because it feels like every week we're having to double check and change things, and of course we can't do that until the actual qualifying list comes out. But the fact that new drivers getting added to this championship and chucked about from pro to AM and then AM to pro just shows what a wonderful job that the admin team are doing of promoting the series and also bringing new blood on board. I mean, we started this season, I think, with about maybe for US probably about 32 drivers, and now we're already up to nearly 40 drivers. So yeah, this is going to be an epic night here.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll have to keep an eye on those battles in both the pro and the AM field here as Campbell and Wills bring their way out of the boot right now, bringing it up into turns 9, 10, and 11. That turn 9 there, always one of the trickiest corners on the grid as the camber absolutely falls away from them. But with the Mercedes domination, it is going to be a Lamborghini that is leading us to the green right now. Sean Campbell in that very distinctive black and red Italian mark will be the one leading us around as we wait for the iRacing pace car to pull off down pit lane. And there it goes. Control of the field going over to Sean Campbell as we wait for him to get on the loud pedal. And there goes the green. We are racing in Watkins Glen. It is a brilliant start from Sean Campbell. Looks like behind him Kyle Boss trying to close in a little bit there, as is Alex Trevor. Trevor sending a move down to the inside of the 90, but that's not going to play out for him necessarily. He's going to be forced to fall back in line as they work their way up the hill. Campbell going to try to extend his lead a little bit of side-by-side through the back of the rest of the field, but it does look like most of our pros are up and through the field nice and easy.
Yeah, having a look at the AM category just getting underway just now then. Shreyas Venkatacharu not actually getting as good a start, I think, as he'd want to. That group looking incredibly close right now as they come across the start-finish line down at turn 1, and that looks like that was Michael Kulaga getting all sorts of wrong down into that first corner there. So the AM class, though, yet again, like the pro class, seem to have navigated at least the first couple of corners successfully.
Yes, they have, and got their way up through the S's without a track blockage or any kind of beating and banging, which is exactly what you want to see. We see here Neubauer trying to hold off a little bit of an attack there from Fowler. He and Fowler are going to be side by side, almost swamping Blumenkrantz up in front of him, and it does look like there the Neubauer in that number 74 Mercedes is going to be able to get by the Audi here early on. The absolute grunt of that Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo definitely proving out to be strong here. A little bit of side by side there up in front as they run, but everyone's still looking like they've been able to get through everything nice and easy here early on. Still some side by side there with Michelle and Mailing up ahead as they dive down into the toe right now, and your leaders in the pro category cross over the start finish line to complete lap 1.
Yeah, already into the book. So Sean Campbell picking up where he left off from that EU race earlier on tonight. RSR by Butt Kicker, no stranger to the circuit, and another person who's going to be wanting to undo all of the damage that they done earlier on tonight. DJ R.A.W.S in second place there had a hardware failure on the start on the green flag lap. Just basically the car just fired off into the barrier on the left hand side on the second to last corner on the green flag lap. Absolutely heartbreaking. Harry was pretty much devastated, but it's great to see. I mean, it seems to come into his own here, as that's going to be a huge issue for Chris Long there at the corner there. I wonder actually if that was a slow down penalty, because Chris Long was up into third position and is now all the way down into 8th.
I was actually keeping an eye on that as you were talking there, David, and it looked like Long got up alongside Alex Trevor going down through the inner loop. Just a little bit of contact, and that forced Long out wide going through the outer loop, and so that's what got him there. We're going to check the replay here. You can see it on your screen. Little bit of contact there. They're able to keep it together, but just that little bit of banging forces Long out wide, and that is going to open up the opportunity there for Tenorio, R.A.W.S, and Newburn to be able to slip on by him up in pro. So he now finds himself down in 8th position. Looks like we've got a little bit more contact here in the back. Potentially this is Dean Timms making a move down to the inside. Oh, that door was always going to close a little bit. Timms getting all kinds of sideways, and both of the Mercedes finding themselves in a little bit of trouble.
I've got to be honest, TJ, I'm never a fan seeing a car reversing right onto the racing line, but it is what it is. He's got to get himself going here. And the thing is that, you know, this is what we've seen from this type of race, is the fact that the 25-minute race, you have no time to recover from any sort of issue whatsoever. You have to kind of hope that it just sticks here, and that is exactly what Shez Vetakaru is doing right now, ahead of Casey Metzger. A brilliant gap, and I cannot believe that these two are what looks like about 3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field here.
Yeah, they are. They've got a good gap building on the rest of the field, and that is going to be good news for Shez as he's able to bring that Mercedes down through the 90. Metzger trying to hold on to the back of him, but it just doesn't look like he is really able to. He has broken the draft here at this point, and that will be crucial on the long run from the 90 all the way up to the inner loop. So Shez here can just focus in a little bit on running his own race. Doesn't have to worry about too much battling going on behind him. We do have a little bit of side by side here. This is for second place overall. Boss trying to get around Harry Wills right now. Wills going to hold off to the inside, what will be the outside line there, going down into the heel of the boot. Doesn't look like he is going to be under pressure there as they rise their way up through turn 9 right now, trying to hold it on. Again, such a tricky corner, but both drivers able to get through nice and easy, and Boss going to be able to try to keep closing in behind Wills.
And listen, we've seen from Harry Wills in the past, he is not a driver that does very well under pressure, as he does tend to buckle in the nicest possible way. But I mean, damn, he's fast. That's the reason that he's up there in second place right now, and that's the reason that him and Kyle Boss have cleared off to the tune of 5 seconds. And the thing is that these Mercs right now absolutely on it. And I've got to be honest, I've just looked to the timing tower, DJ, and I've just realised what you meant about the Mercs being absolutely dominant. It's very strange to see that, because earlier on tonight it was a much more even field that we had here. We had the likes of, there was about maybe 8 Lamborghinis, there was probably about 7 or 8 Porsches, and the dominant factor was actually the BMWs. But it looks like now Merck's really sort of coming to the forefront here.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they are looking very, very strong indeed. Second all the way back to sixth of the pro category continues to be those Mercedes as we keep our eyes focused on the battle with Harry Wills. Oh, John Casey there in the AM class looks like he's had a little bit of a problem. It wasn't coming up over turn 9. This is going to be the run down into the penultimate corner for the 78. Just carries speed into the corner there. That is a very, very strange incident. The rear end of that car just looking like it broke away on him, and not normally in the area, David, that I would expect it to. If you carry a little bit too much speed through that corner, you can have it sort of snap on you at the apex, but not at the exit like that. Oh, is Drew Swank having a problem as well?
Oh, that's a medic right there. Goodness me. That's, yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw another car actually off in the middle of the shot there. So, yeah, not too sure what that was all about. But, yeah, so Drew Swank, though. Yeah, so there was actually another car off into the background there. Very, very strange. Jeremy Littleton as well has had a moment here. In fact, maybe it was Jeremy Littleton that was off in the background here. Oh yeah,
take a look there. Yeah, big clobber of the curves. Just couldn't get that car slowed down. You saw him try to get onto the binders, and it was indeed the Canadian there who suffered that problem. Looks like John Casey going to be taking back to pit lane after his contact with the wall. We focus right now on Harry Wills and Kyle Boss. Boss taking another look to the inside, trying to see if there is anything under the underneath Harry Wills right now to be able to get on by him. But Boss just doesn't look like he is quite able to do it. Harry's starting to stretch his legs a little bit, building that gap ever so slightly.
Oh my goodness me, I'm just also looking at the action log that we get from all these races as well. Poor Jeff Carollo, unfortunately he's all over it and not in a good way. This is one of the 2 incidents that we've had in the past 2 minutes from Jeff. Now this is a super easy incident to do. I've done this many a time, especially in the LMP2 class. Again, it's just too late on the brakes there, the rear end just washes out. And yeah, that's not the best thing to do. Oh my good God, that was horrific as a rejoin. Let's see what his other incident is here. Yeah, so that's just him rejoining after that spin there. So nothing really too much to worry about. But I mean, the thing we noticed as well, and I noticed this in the EU race as well, we had the exact same situation with, I believe it was Sean Campbell who was right behind the leader for the majority of this 25-minute race here. And what I was wondering then, and what I'm wondering now, DJ, is do you think Kyle Boss is just waiting for his opportunity? He's not wanting to push it too hard here. He's just wanting to make sure that Harry Wills isn't in a position where he can respond.
I think that very well may be it. He's just trying to absolutely time everything right. You know, this is a circuit that NASCAR does come to, and it does race a little bit like an oval at points. Looks like Boss, though, trying to go down to what will be the outside, going to back it off there a little bit. And to that point, it does race a little bit like an oval, specifically that run from the 90 up into the inner loop. You've got to get the timing right to be able to do it, because look what just happened to Kyle Boss. He lost about 3/4 of a second off the back of Harry Wills trying to throw it in there. Oh, big problems for Kai DL, the number 44 with the R.A.W.S by Skyline Designs machine. That is one of the cars that I had my eye on, is maybe being able to work his way up through the field. Looked like he's had a big off coming through the inner loop.
Yeah, the only thing he's going to be working towards is the scrapyard. From the looks of it, that car is absolutely toasted. He's about to jump back to the pit lane, and yeah, no surprise there. Eric Blumenkrantz has also had a bit of an incident here. This is coming along the start-finish straight there, and yeah, you can already see that car weave into the right-hand side there. Suspension damage possibly on the front there, and DJ, this is a high rate of attrition that we've got already in this 25-minute race.
Very, very high rate of attrition as we see Kai DL taking a tow back into pit lane. And I've got to be honest with you, David, I anticipated some attrition. I did not anticipate quite this much this early on.
You and me both, brother. Oh, and Harry Wills. I mean, look, this is what I say, and I obviously we joke about it because Harry Wills, one of the admins, and it helps us out getting the race broadcast set up and lets us know about the sessions and stuff like that. But I mean, the thing that frustrates me about Harry Wills is that he is damn fast. He is so talented, but it often feels like the biggest aggressor to R.A.W.S is R.A.W.S, because he just pushes that car like way too hard, and sometimes maybe he has to, given the pressure that he's been put under Kyle Boss. But especially right now, you're nearly halfway through the race, DJ. I'd be very tempted to kind of just, if the car's feeling a little bit loose, maybe just ease off. But at the end of the day as well, he's only 1.67 seconds behind Sean Campbell in the lead.
Yes, he is. He's only that far back. And let's remember, Harry is leading the championship here at this point. So he's clearly been putting in the times as he needs to. But Harry right now trying to hold off a little bit behind. We're going to check back in the field a little bit more. This is Dan Tenorio for the Twisted Racing team, trying to do a little bit of 2-for-1 here. Alex R.A.W.S directly up ahead of him, trying to keep touch with that number 50. And then Jeremy R.A.W.S directly behind him, also trying to pressurize a little bit. A train of Mercedes right now as they run. You can see Reese Newburn popping into the background. Here is Thomas Fisher as he's trying to work his way around a little bit more. He and that Audi trying to hold off the attacks right there of Will Lindley, and Lindley also coming out with a little bit of pressure from one of those BMWs that you talked about in the form of James Costa.
Bit disappointed with Thomas Fisher, if I'm honest, because he promised he was going to change his name every week just to make me giggle, and it's still the same. It's still poor Eric Kalaga who is getting the brunt of his attention this week. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a fairly reasonable effort. I was expecting Thomas to be a little bit further up, but there's still that second race to come later on this evening in about 25 minutes time, so maybe he'll be looking forward to that. But we've got a little bit closer with R.A.W.S as well and Kyle Boss. But again, all these little battles. Now this is it. Is Will Lindley going to try and make a move here coming up the back straight?
Well, he brings that car to what will be the outside of the inner loop. That's going to be a tricky run for the Celeritas driver here as they go down now into that bus stop chicane. Not going to pay off there. I think that's very, very good defense from Thomas Fisher to be able to hold that Audi in place. The Audi not necessarily the quickest car around here, not having the most straight line speed, and sometimes being a little bit sensitive coming up and over the curbs. And you've got to really clobber some curbs around this Watkins Glen circuit to be able to make up time. There comes another little bit of a look there from Lindley, trying to see what he can get, maybe force Fisher into a mistake. Not seeing any being made thus far, though.
Yeah, fascinating battles all the way through here. You get the impression Lindley is going to grow impatient here with Thomas Fisher right in front of him. Another amazing battle actually towards the AMS as well. This is down in 5th, 6th and 7th place here. Fabian Ponce, Eric Kulaga and Justin Delano all fighting it out for that 5th position. And again, you know, testament to this series, the fact that we're 13.5 minutes into the race here and we've still got battles that are separated by like a second for 2 or 3 cars. So brilliant stuff to see here. However, the real thing is R.A.W.S coming under huge pressure from Kyle Boss right now.
Yes, he is. Harry's going to stick to the inside line as he is entitled to do, and that's going to slow down Kyle a little bit. Indeed, Kyle's going to back out of it. They are not go for the overtake going down into the inner loop. I think if you're Kyle Boss in this situation, you need to try to be looking around here a little bit more. Here's Dan Tenorio trying to get a move on Alex R.A.W.S. Remember, we were saying he was defending a little bit from Jeremy R.A.W.S, but looks like he was able to get the run out of the 90 and now tries to put pressure on that number 50 directly up ahead of him.
Brilliant race that we've had so far here. You can see the flashing lights there from Jeremy R.A.W.S there, and Will Lindley then loses that position after he was trying to get that from Thomas Fisher there, just goes a little bit wide, and that is just after the loop. I think it doesn't take a genius to see what happens. Oh, and it was actually almost 2 incidents in one there, because James Costa almost caught up in that one with Will Lindley there. Very good reactions from both the drivers to avoid what could have been a much bigger accident there.
Yes, indeed it was. Very, very close running there, and they were able to keep everything nice and even. Oh, it looks like Dean Timms having it off, going down into the 90. Something happening there to the Twisted Racing driver in the number 46. We'll have to see if we can check out and see what that was. When we check back on the battle for 4th place right now, Alex R.A.W.S continuing to hold off Tenorio. R.A.W.S just lurking there behind, waiting to pick up the pieces. This is what happened there to Dean Timms. You can see a little bit of damage already to that car. Comes down into the 90. I wonder if that's just a parking move that he had just said, I am done with that race here today, as he did not look like anything really happened there necessarily to the number 46.
Yeah, he's just had enough. He's decided to go and put the kettle on and get a cup of coffee and get himself prepared for the next race instead. And you can't blame him. I mean, these 25-minute races, there's not really much you can do in terms of a recovery drive if something is to go wrong here. But I'm watching Dan Tenorio. He is looking mighty aggressive coming into the loop there. But the problem is, this is bringing Jeremy R.A.W.S in the background there. The three of them now all battling out for fourth position. R.A.W.S looks a little bit safer, and I do mean little in the most minute way possible of saying that there. He's got about half a second of a lead ahead of Kyle Bosch right now, but yeah, Trevor, Tenorio and R.A.W.S all fighting it out for this fourth position here.
Yes, they are, and there you saw Tenorio able to take a little bit of a narrower exit there out of the toe of the boot, trying to see if he could get a little bit of a run on R.A.W.S, but Trevor just able to hold that speed out. These three Mercedes running in a line. By the way, that wide line you're seeing there coming out through the heel, that is legal. That is all within bounds here for these drivers. After the rescan of Watkins Glen on the iRacing service, they are able to take that out as far as they would like, so no off-track penalties there, and a great couple of corners there for R.A.W.S, able to grow that gap by about 0.2 of a second.
Just going on board here with Jeremy R.A.W.S for Celeritas Simracing Vivictus down into the 90 then, into that turn 1 then, and again you have to be so patient because you will get, and I know the track limits are very generous towards the other part of the circuit, but turn 1 they really are not. You go anywhere near those red and yellow curbs with your right hand wheels, and that's going to be a track cut warning, or at least an incident point there. But the thing with this is Jeremy R.A.W.S here, I mean, he was looking in a strong position, but now you see how the swings turned there, and that is going to be big trouble right now for R.A.W.S as Dan Tenorio actually gets caught up here, and this allows Jeremy R.A.W.S to get the momentum possibly in for a cutback here.
Yeah, it certainly does, as they fly their way through the laces right now, trying to see if there's anything to be had for R.A.W.S. He's going to have to look a little bit interestingly, flashing of the headlights there up ahead, as we've had another driver around back in the AM category. That is the Audi of Michael Fowler for Twisted Racing Team. I'm not sure if he picked up any damage there on that car. The car looks pretty clean. Let's take a look here. He was running in line behind, I believe that may have been Littleton, and just comes through the corner. That's the second time we've seen that. Maybe just a little bit too much speed on the outside, and the rear end breaking away, making heavy contact into those tire barriers.
Oofed. That is all I'm going to say on that one. That's all really you can say on that one. Cutting back to this battle then between Trevor, Tenorio and R.A.W.S right now. It seems to be that Tenorio is the one that's under pressure. Sean Campbell though at the front of this pro battle right now. 2 seconds to the good of R.A.W.S. R.A.W.S now kind of safe with the fact that he's got 1 second. Oh my god, that is... Oh, what do you say to that? That car that is flipping rather round and has got some severe damages. The number 90 of Chris Long. I think we'll put our Fs in chat for that one, because that was a brutal crash. That is almost a carbon copy of the incident we saw in the EU split with Simon Dodd tonight, except Simon Dodd was literally sent about 300 feet up into the sky here. He keeps on the brakes here, he can't do anything, he tries to move out the way. The Porsche behind, or sorry, the BMW behind was trying to get out of there, but yeah, just wasn't to be, unfortunately. That is a huge accident, and possibly Thomas Fisher going to have to change his name yet again on that one.
He very well might, as he is now in a load of hurt there with that. That Audi definitely suffering some damage. R.A.W.S able to pull away a little bit here, but Jeremy R.A.W.S keeping up the pressure. He's going to have a little bit of a look down to the end of the heel here, trying to be later on the binders than R.A.W.S. Trevor's going to be able to carry the momentum around the outside. I think he's going to be able to blunt that attack off, and indeed he is. There he goes as they come up through turn 9. No attack there to be completed by Jeremy R.A.W.S, but they are certainly close enough to do it. Here is a replay back from from Michael Fowler. Remember, we saw some damage to that car. I wonder what happened here to Fowler. Ooh, that's very strange. You do not see a lot of cars having a single car spin there going down into the heel. It really, really looks like here today, David, that these Audis are struggling around this Watkins Glen circuit.
I'm definitely not going to balance that by saying anything nice about the Audis. I think my feelings on those schizophrenic cars are very, very clear. They are unpredictable at the best of times. They are fast, but you know, for me, just the thin window of actually getting them to go fast is a very, very difficult thing as well. More drama. R.A.W.S this time into the action here in the BMW. This is coming down into second to last corner there. Seeing him taking a little bit of the grass here now. I was one of the previous broadcasts, I don't think it was here on WSL, I'd asked about that, about, you know, I'd seen it at Spa, one of the drivers dipping the wheel into the grass here, and what I didn't realise is that it appears to be some sort of advantage for some of the drivers here, that if you dip your wheels onto the grass, it gives you a little bit of a boost in acceleration. Very, very strange little bit of affairs here, and one that I think iRacing will sort pretty quickly.
I would have to think so, especially with the 6 hours of the Glen just being completed, and so drivers will be aware of that. We continue to keep our eyes here on the battle for 4th place as we're going to jump back here because we've got a battle for AM lead right now. That is Casey Metzger catching up on Shreyas Raju right now. Ventura Raju, where did he come from as they try to get their way around? I believe that's Thomas Fisher directly up ahead of them, some slower cars.
That's exactly what's happened, and Fisher, I think, has backed these two into each other right now, and what was looking quite safe actually for Shreyas Venkataraju, I think is now very, very dangerous indeed, because Casey Metzger, all his Christmases have come at once in the middle of July. He's in the pound seats for winning this race right now. All he has to do is try and time this move to perfection. But Thomas Fisher, and the thing is look, this is for position as well. These two are in different classes, but Thomas Fisher under no obligation whatsoever to move aside here, and this is hurting Shreyas unbelievably. This is going to end in tears. I just get the feeling that Shreyas is very, very frustrated here. You've got Casey Metzger trying to look a little bit optimistic here. Okay, maybe that's the risk reduced massively, but wow, scary stuff given that we've only got 2 minutes left to go here.
Yes, we do, and we believe here that the leader should be coming by to get the white flag next time by. So realistically here, about a lap, 2 laps here for both of these AM leaders as they come in. Watching here as Metzger's going to try to get behind in the draft. He's going to pull way out to the outside there, trying to carry that extra momentum down through the bus stop. Beautiful move. Can he hold it together? Oh my goodness, Casey Metzger up into the lead of the race.
I'm sorry, what? Do you want to tell me how in a month of Sundays that was even possible for Casey Metzger? That was unbelievable. I mean, the dedication that he had here. Let's go on board with Casey Metzger here. This is actually just down into to turn 1, so we'll actually get the correct one up here. So this is going down into the loop here. And he just later on the brakes, just absolute confidence there, DJ. I mean, that says everything you need to know about Casey Metzger. Oh, and Jeremy R.A.W.S has come into problems. Jeremy R.A.W.S into the pits.
Oh no, I don't know what has happened to Jeremy R.A.W.S at all. My goodness, he is down pit lane here. Could that potentially be, he's coming into the box. It may be an issue where he underfueled the car potentially. I have no explanation.
Yeah, that is absolutely bizarre. I'm just trying to see if it's potentially no. So it's not even any, you know, like a stop-go penalty or anything like that. That is bizarre, especially for a 25-minute race. You would never have thought that that fuel would have been an issue, but yet here we are. So that, I mean, essentially hands that battle then with Alex Trevor, as that looked like Dan Tenorio off in the grass there.
Yeah, Tenorio having a little bit of a problem on the exit there of the laces, just taking all of the track as he comes out of it, and he's going to find himself a little bit squirrely, but yeah, that is going to effectively get the pressure off of Tenorio's back here in the final stages of this race. I can tell you right now that Sean Campbell there on your screen, the leader from the drop of the green flag, he is going to bring that number 26 RSR by Butt Kicker Lamborghini back out onto the main straightaway, and he will take victory in race 1 here tonight. Following him behind will be Harry Wills in that number 95 Mercedes.
Brilliant, brilliant effort. Wonderful, wonderful win there for Sean Campbell. Made it look so easy. And this is a turn up for the books here because Alex Trebor gets past Kyle Boss on the final lap of the race to take P3. So what happens to Kyle Boss there? He's out of fuel. He's out of fuel. So not only is that going to be Jeremy R.A.W.S, but Kyle Boss running out of fuel on the final lap. That is absolute heartbreak. Back to the battle though, and it looks like it's going to be Casey Metzger that's going to take this win. But is it? Does Chase have anything in the tank? No, they don't. And that is several cars slowing down right at the finish of the race here. Wow, I mean, to not have enough fuel for a 25-minute race, that is, it's a little bit surprising for me.
It's got to be an issue here with strategy across the line there as we see Tristan Hurl coming across to take home third in the AM category. There is Eric Kulaga coming across as well. But yeah, I have to agree with you there, David. Utterly unprecedented, really, in my history of covering racing here on iRacing, that we see a mass fuel shortage like that. Very, very surprising as we just wait for Daniel Floria here to cross over the line in his McLaren, and there he goes. And so that will bring us right now to our final finishing results here. Obviously, everything a little bit changed around here in the running because of those fuel problems. Sean Campbell there was able to take the win from Harry Wills. Alex Trebor rounding out your podium positions with Dan Tenorio and Dave Benedetto in the top 5. Reese Newburn, James Howard, Chase Wilson, James Costa, and Jeremy R.A.W.S crawling across the line courtesy of that fuel problem. Mark Chapman behind him, Thomas Fisher, and then Will Lindley along with Kyle Boss there in 14th. Jeremy Littleton, Chris Longdean, Timms, and Kai DL all unable to see the drop of the checkered flag due to incidents and accidents. Let's go ahead and move you over to the AM category here today. And as we saw, it was a fantastic battle up at the top there with Casey Metzger able to take victory over Sheyasvet Karanduju there. Tristan Hurl able to come home in third, followed by Justin Delano, then Michael Kulaga and Eric Kulaga in 6th. Braden Mainling was 7th, followed by James Hebb, Drew Neubauer, Jeff Carollo, Andrew Rasmussen, Daniel Floria, the last drivers to finish on a lead lap. Fabian Ponce there a lap down. Not sure exactly what happened to him, as well as Charles Bichelle, Michael Fowler, Andrew Hewitt, Matthew Plaisance, and John Casey, all multiple laps down and not seeing the checkered flag as they ran. And, well, David, that is going to bring us here to a quick break for the Race Anywhere World Series leagues as we get these servers switched over and get ready to go racing for our feature race here tonight, a 50-minute affair from the same track. So we will be back in just a few minutes with that, but in the meantime, don't you go anywhere.
Atlanta. London. Harlem. Brooklyn. Kingston. 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 Atlanta.
Welcome back to the Race Anywhere World Series League at Watkins Glen for round 3. My name is DJ Clark, joined here in the commentary booth by David Christie. And as we get ready to go racing for the second race tonight, our full feature-length race of 50 minutes, the excitement and anticipation couldn't get any more and any higher. But before we get to that race, we've got about 4 minutes left to go in practice, and we're going to go ahead and bring on in Thomas Fisher here. And Thomas, I think you have said you've got a little explanation as to your name popping up on our broadcast.
Yeah, so so actually, it's not supposed to be there this week. I had removed it, but last week it was accidentally put there. I put it in the wrong category, so I didn't know it was going to show up on screen. But the whole joke with Prince of crashing to Eric Kalaga is because whenever we were practicing, occasionally we would practice with me being, the fastest driver from Vulture Motorsports. We'd practice, they'd practice their defending with me. And, quite often I'd make some pretty aggressive moves, and it happened in one session where I crashed into Eric Kalaga a lot. So I put that in there as a joke. And then I had every intention of actually changing it up every week, as I had mentioned to you. And this week it was actually supposed to be Mark Chapman is next. Referring to my good friend over from Celeritas. So it was gonna have a reference to him. But then I was informed by the guys at Celeritas that apparently there was some form of league rule or policy against, sort of putting in joke names for the broadcast. And so for this week, I removed it from the software, but obviously that hasn't taken hold from the session. I don't know if it'll apply for this session now, but I had removed it. It doesn't appear to have worked, but I'm still waiting back on confirmation from the head steward to see if I am allowed to do that. And then at that point, we'll definitely be able to change it up every week. And, Mark Chapman will be next week.
Well, I absolutely love it, and I certainly hope that you are able to change it, because it certainly gives us a laugh up here on the broadcast. But on a more serious note, I mean, what are you hoping for here in this second race? Obviously, a little bit of a tough one there for you last time out.
Yeah, in all honesty, I'm not expecting much. The Audi R8 as a general GT3 car is I'm going to paraphrase the words of Mark Chapman and remove the not suitable for work words, but it's not a car that many people would like to drive, shall we say. It's crap, actually. I'm about 10 kilometers an hour down the straights. I've got no downforce. The only thing that's good on is on the brakes. That's why I was able to defend from Will Lindley. But, so honestly, I'm just hoping to survive. I wasn't able to do that in the previous race, obviously having a bit of a spin and then contact with R.A.W.S. So if I can just get through this race and, finish it in one piece, that's sort of what we're aiming for at the minute.
Well, Thomas, we wish you all the luck in the world. Practice is about to wrap up, so we won't keep you any longer, and good luck here in this second race.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
All right, that was Thomas Fisher there. And David, always good to know a little bit of that background story there, as that name has always made us laugh multiple times on the broadcast. But we are ready now to go racing here. And remember, we do have the invert that will change things around. So that means that Dean Tams will be lining up in pole position here with Chris Long to his outside, Jeremy Littleton and Kyle Boss behind him in fourth place. Will Lindley and Thomas Fisher will be P6, followed by Mark Chapman and Jeremy R.A.W.S. in 8th. James Costa and Chase Wilson will be 9th and 10th, followed by James Howard and Reese Newburn behind them. After that, it will be Dave Menino lining up in 13th, followed by Dan Tenorio, Alex Trevor, Harry Willis, Sean Campbell, Kai Diel, and Errol Urexoy. You may be wondering why Kai Diel and Errol Urexoy are at the back of the field. Well, that's because they did not finish the race, and so as a result, they start at the back even after the invert. Moving back into the AM class, it's going to be Eric Blumenkrantz lining up in pole position with John Casey to his outside. Matthew Plaisance and Andrew Hewitt will be 3rd and 4th. In row 3, it's going to be Michael Fowler, followed by Charles Bushell, with Fabian Ponce and Daniel Floria in 8th. Andrew Rasmussen will be 9th, followed by Jeff Carolla, with Drew Neubauer and James Hebb in 12th place. 13th will be Brandon Maling, followed by Eric Kulaga. Michael Kulaga will be 15th, then Justin Delano, Tristan Hurl, Shea Spencer, Venkataraju, and then Casey Metzger rounds out your amateur field. And I've got to think here today, David, that in this 50-lap race, this is going to get way more intense. We've got more time to be able to go, and I think we may see these drivers being a little bit more aggressive, as they found it very hard to get past there in that first race.
Oh, they certainly did, didn't they? And yeah, like I'm kind of scared. I don't think we've got enough energy, to be honest with us, DJ, to get to do 50 minutes of whatever the heck that was in that 25-minute race. Double the length. They've got a pit stop to do as well. I get the feeling I'm going to be getting a complaint from my neighbour for noise at what is 2:30 in the morning here. This is going to be a spicy race, but more importantly, and joking aside, this is going to be absolutely pivotal in terms of championship points for this season.
I have to agree with you there. I certainly think it's going to be very, very pivotal. As always, we're going to have to see how the likes of Wills and Campbell work their way back up through the field, try to take as many points as possible. I also think it'll be a little bit interesting to see what Dean Timms is able to do. Dean, a relatively quick driver up front, he may be able to control the pace of this field relatively well. Back down in the amateur category, going to be very, very interesting to see what R.A.W.S is going to be able to do. Remember, we haven't really seen him fight his way through the field thus far, so that's going to be a big, big question mark to see what that number 15 will be able to do.
Well, that's exactly what we are here for. They're halfway through their formation lap here, and again, R.A.W.S is praying to the sim racing gods right now that the hardware issue doesn't repeat itself. Certainly from the performance in the first one, he'll hopefully get much better luck. Going to start there in 16th position after a fairly decent outing in for the AMS as well. But what do you think, DJ? I mean, you've obviously commentated on many, many, many races. At this point in time now, what do you think is going through the drivers' minds?
Well, I think the majority of them are just trying to calm themselves down here a little bit. You know, there's often a common misconception that you think when you're behind the wheel of the car that your adrenaline's pumping and you let that take control and take over. And the truth of the matter is you set your fastest lap times when you are calm, cool, and collected, when you are in control of everything. And I think for a lot of these drivers, that's what they're trying to do right here, is just focus the mind, focus the body, not feel too aggressive, and just get everything down into a nice operating area as they go. Dean Timms right now bringing that number 46 Twisted Racing Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo out of the penultimate corner, bringing it down now through the final corner. Chris Long in that BMW going to be starting to his outside as the iRacing pace car pulls off down pit lane, and we get ready for the green flag. Dean Timms leading us down the start-finish line, and there goes the green. It is not a good start at all there from Dean Timms, as it looks like Long is able to get a great jump on him. He's going to be challenging him 2x2 down into the 90. Looks like that's going to be Long backing off a little bit, but Kyle Boss going to be trying to put in some pressure there along the outside there of the rest of the drivers. A little bit of 2x2 through the back of the rest of the field as they climb their way up through the S's.
Brilliant start as we move to the AMS, then they get underway as well for their part of the race as well. John Casey leads, but I've got to be honest, that's been a terrible start for Casey. Blumenkrantz already away past, and we're not even into turn one yet. That is, yeah, that's not been the best start there for John Casey.
No, it certainly hasn't, and he's got to watch out for Plaisance there in that Ferrari coming up behind him as well as Hewitt. But we've got to jump you back up to the front of the pros right now as Kyle Boss and Chris Long are in a very, very close battle. Boss now able to get himself around Chris Long, move himself up into that second position. That's 2 positions gained here in the early running for the number 2.
Brilliant early stuff, and the difficult thing for us as well in the broadcast booth here, DJ, is the fact that there's about 15,000 things happening at once on track there, and that looks like a little move up the inside there. Kyle Boss very lucky not to come into contact there with Dean Timms.
I think he's trying to show his nose early, set that aggression down, and see if he can get that number 2 into a position where he is able to force a mistake out of Dean Timms. I like the aggression early on from the Michigan driver right now. We ride on board with him as they come through the penultimate corner, now working their way down into the final corner, trying to see if there is anything. A little bit of a better line there for Kyle Boss. Is he going to be able to line this up? He just might be able to. Pokes his nose to the inside, down the front straightaway, looks for the move on Dean Timms. He's got a nose ahead, and I think Boss is going to take it. Yes, he is.
Beautiful move, timed that to perfection. The thing is that now means that Timms is thrown to the wolves. Look at Chris Long behind him. He's going to be fancying a move up this straight as well. Incredible action here, and it's still got the potential to go horribly, horribly wrong right now.
Yes, it does. You've got to be very, very careful with the fight back there from Timms. They're going to be side by side down into the inner loop. I think that's going to be a little bit of a back off there from Chris Long, as now it looks like Timms is going to be absolutely swallowed up. Cars streaking their way by the outside of the outer loop. That's Thomas Fisher able to get the move, and now it's going to be Jeremy R.A.W.S. We saw him have plenty of speed. He's going to take a very, very aggressive look. Contact there, shoving Timms out of the way.
Yeah, Timms is going to have to go to the police station and get a crime reference number, because he's getting absolutely assaulted left, right and centre here. Poor Dean Timms all the way down to 5th position, and you get the feeling that once those gaggle of cars behind him get their claws into him. Dean Timms is going to be lucky if he even stays inside the top 15 right now.
I have to agree with you on that. Teams looks like he is losing a lot more than he is gaining, but we still continue to have some great side-by-side action there in the back. I believe that's Chase and Howard, or Wilson and Howard trying to go at it as well. But Dean Timms right now, the latest driver to try to see if he can be able to get by him is going to be Jeremy Littleton. We ride on board with the number 31 Canadian driver right now, seeing if he can have anything over that Mercedes.
What a start to this race already. I mean, it's just been properly crazy in terms of action and all the drama that we've seen so far. Here comes Will Lindley trying to get moved on Jeremy Littleton down into the 90, then great move up the inside. It's cool, calm and collected as you like here. One other driver that I'm having a look at here is Thomas Fisher. He's already up to P3, but he's got Jeremy R.A.W.S all over the back of him right now, and that's going to be a big crash for Charles Boschel and Brandon Mailing as well.
Oh, heavy damage there to Braden Maling there. As you can see, the ERS by Skyline Designs driver. Let's take a look at exactly what happened. This is coming up and over the crest into that ever-tricky corner of turn 9, and it looks like that was Mainland that just ran wide, a little bit understeered. And the 21 in, well, let's call that a precarious position.
I was going to say a compromising position, but yeah, precarious will do the job just as well as Jeremy Littleton now fighting on with James Howard here. And this is just an all-out street fight right now, DJ. I've never seen a start like this before.
No, I certainly haven't either, as Littleton definitely trying to see if he can get a little bit of a move on. Howard takes a peek down to the inside there, going into the heel of the boot. Not going to be able to get it done, they say. Single file now as they work their way back up the hill and into turn 9. A very, very close running there behind. That is Harry Wills leading the way, but Campbell also there, and that's Wills off. Wills making contact, coming through turn 9. That's going to set him down the order.
God, what was that I was saying about Harry Wills being Harry Wills' worst enemy right now? But yeah, he gets going again, tries to hang it round the outside there. He's going to be lucky to hold that on. He does. I mean, the kid definitely isn't short of fortitude, but my goodness me, he knows. It's almost like he chooses the hardest way in which you could possibly earn a result and thinks, yep, I'm going to do that.
You're not wrong, but a little bit of a battle up ahead of him between Menino and Urexoy may open up an opportunity for him. That is Kai DL directly behind Harry Wills right now. This is a good battle, though. Alex Trevor trying to hold off Dan Tenorio, continuing their battle from earlier on in this race. There you can see Tenorio poking his nose to what will be the outside of the bus stop, but that will obviously switch back to him. He's just got to try to be a little bit later on the binders, and he is through!
It's a move there from Trevor on the inside of Menino there. Dave Menino is not going to know what on earth just hit him there. But honestly, I mean, the fact that we're like going all the way up to, say, 3rd place, 4th and 5th are so close right now, and you think that if Thomas Fisher or Dean Timms possibly can get the foot in, they might be able to make their way back up to this lead group here.
They certainly might be able to, and they've got plenty of time to be able to do it, to try to see if they are going to be able to move their way forward with about 45 minutes left to go in this race. I'll tell you one driver, though, who is running off into an island unto himself. That is Eric Blumenkrantz. Oh, Dave Menino now having a problem down through the heel of the boot. Looks like that car spun around the wrong way, but Eric Blumenkrantz here up in the lead of the AM category. Absolutely dominant. We've had a big coming together. That's Hewitt, Kulaga, multiple drivers around.
That was a big collision. 6 drivers, I believe, involved in that one at least. Andrew Hewitt, Casey Metzger was all in that as well. Let's see what happens here then. And I think that it's going to be, yeah, that looks like it was Andrew Hewitt just pulling across into a car that was always going to be there. Very difficult to watch, and that is going to be minor damage, I think, for quite a few of the cars there. But
yeah, not going to be that heavy. No, interesting there. The DL's coming down pit lane. We normally do see pit stops over the course of this 50-minute race, and it may just be DL opting to do a little bit, but that's very strange. Coming up onto the tires, he is changing tires there. I'm not sure why he would do that. Very, very strange indeed. I can also report that Thomas Fisher seems to have run into a little bit of trouble. He's got some massive damage to the rear wing of his Audi as we watch Dean Timms and Howard right now working their way down through the laces of the boot.
Oh, and Dan Tenorio as well. I mean, what is going on? We're not even 10 minutes into this race, DJ, and it feels like it's like watching the wrestling all over again. It's just who's going to be coming out next. That's Casey Metzger as well, back to the pits. He's had enough right now, and look, I mean, 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes into a 50-minute race here. This is not how you want your first half of the race to be going.
No, not at all. A lot of these drivers are having to start off from the back foot, and that is the last thing that they want to have happen. We watch now the battle for P4. Dean Timms leading the way from James Howard, Jeremy Littleton, Chase Wilson, and your winner from race 1, Sean Campbell, is Hewitt hard into the barriers. They're coming through the final corner. That car looks to have some pretty heavy suspension damage to the front. Definitely crabbing as he tries to bring it down pit lane.
I think that's optimistic to say suspension damage on that thing. Look at the state of it. That, I think, is going to be the most expensive Italian paperweight I think you can find this side of the Atlantic. That car is absolutely destroyed. Fair play to him. He's taken it all the way back to the pits there, but yeah, I think he's going to be very glad that it's virtual driving and not real. That would have been a very, very expensive bill, and I'm not going to lie, my heart was in my mouth at that, trying to watch. Oh my god, the state of it. This was before he ended up into the barrier, so this is him still trying to... I just... What gets me, right, is the fact that we need to try and go on board with the cockpit here. Look at how much steering input he's put in just to try and keep that thing straight, DJ.
Oh my goodness, that is the definition of a limping car. They're not doing well at all, and there it is, trying to get some hammers put onto it and beating and banging it out there. This is Chris Long, who currently runs in second place, holding exactly where he started the race, as everybody else around him has seemed to fall and rise up through the field. Here's Sean Campbell, your winner from the previous race, making a good little move here, trying to at least down to the outside there of the laces, but he loses the car. That is Campbell around.
That is a really, really awkward moment, and that's Will Lindley that got caught up with him as well there, DJ. So that was why Sean Campbell away down in P13 right now. But I mean, after all that craziness, now we've got all these cars split away left, right and centre here, but it's the AM battle really that's interesting me, because you've got Eric Blumenkrantz just ahead of Fabian Ponce there, and then you've got the likes of John Casey ahead of Andrew Rasmussen and Shez Vin Katsuruju. So lots to play for still with this early stage in the race.
Yeah, plenty still to go here. John Casey leading the way here, fourth place, trying to catch back on Plaisance. The AM battle definitely starting to shape itself out. There is plenty of good battling happening out all over the track.
So with 11 minutes gone in this 50-minute race here, Jeremy Littleton has had a moment as well. He's off the track, and that is a huge moment. That looks like it's the loop. He's gone. He's into the pit lane there, and that is not what you want to see. Dean Timms looks like he's jumped out of the race as well. It looks like he's had a connection issue there. In fact, yeah, so Dean Timms looks to have gone as well. So bizarre set of circumstances going on here, but Alex Traber doing his best to hold on to Harry Wills here.
Yes, he is, as this is certainly a bizarre set of circumstances leading into the start of this race, but Wills trying to be able to gain in. His one bit of solace here, remember, as he had that off earlier on, is that Sean Campbell has also had that off, so Wills does find himself leading one of his Chief Championship rivals here as he works his way around, trying to see if he can find anything on Alex Trevor. But we have seen that Trevor in that number 50 FTR esports machine has plenty of speed, has plenty of tenacity to try to get himself up forward. Wills, though, looks like he gets a great run there onto the main straightaway.
coming down, almost going to be nose to tail as they come into the 90 then for the 8th time of asking here. And again, we've seen this earlier on from R.A.W.S in the EU split. He's happy to ride behind cars as long as they've got the pace. It saves him a little bit of tyres and it saves him a little bit of fuel as well. So he's definitely got the big game plan in mind here, but it could be all about to come to a head. R.A.W.S coming up the hill then, and this is going to be going into the inside.
I had a little bit of a look there, but not able to get it set the way I think he would have liked to. He's going to have to stay in line. Now, they do have Newburn up ahead of them as well. Reese Newburn there in the Ferrari, so that's a little bit of the carrot in front of that. We check back on the battle right now in the AM category as Matthew Plaisance trying to close back in on R.A.W.S there as they rise their way up the hill. Ferrari versus Mercedes as they try to climb there. Also behind them, that's Casey and Rasmussen running. We ride on board with John Casey trying to be able to secure it down to top 5 position.
Well, we've got contact. Fabien Pons has went into the wall at the inside of the loop there. So Fabien Pons from second place in the AM battle there. That is a huge incident.
Yes, it is, and there we can see it. BMW versus BMW. Ponce tries to go in, maybe a little bit of contact there between him and the leader, and that puts Ponce heavily around into the wall, and that is going to be that car not looking particularly healthy, not grabbing nearly as badly as Andrew Hewitt's Ferrari, but certainly some damage to it.
You never ever want to see that. So into pit lane then. Let's check back with some of these battles then. This is the battle for 7th position right now as Reese Newburn ahead of Alex Traber and R.A.W.S as well. Going back to the AMs, it's Eric Blumenkrantz now 3 seconds ahead of Shez Venkataraju in that second place here. So again, while it looked like we were just having mayhem left, right and centre here, it does look like things starting to calm down a little bit.
Yes, it does, and that's not entirely unexpected. In these longer races, you do see a little bit of that calm starting to sneak its way in. Urexoy and Lindley, though, trying to go down into the corner. Lindley, I think, there for Salaritas wisely backing off a little bit, letting Lindley have the corner discretion, proving the better part of Valor.
Jumping back to one of the AM battles then, this down at turn 1 for James Hebb. Looks like that's going to be Michael Fowler as well, who just tried to go around the outside there. Wasn't going to happen here as we come up to 15 minutes gone in this 50-minute race here for the World Series League's WSL Round 3, Season 3, if you can believe that already, with a good chunk into the season. James Hebb, though, trying to defend that position. I think he's almost, defending a bit of clean air right now, because the car behind him, Fowler, was not really in a position to actually make anything, and by defending that clean air you actually end up losing yourself time.
Yeah, exactly. You do not want to necessarily put yourself into that position to be defending the clean air at the cost of losing yourself that time. Here is the battle, though, between Trevor and Wills. Wills looking like he may have had enough sitting around behind the number 50. Took a little bit of a look to the inside there of the 90, but not going to be able to get a go for it. Up ahead of them, Kyle Bloss having a big gap over the rest of the field. 6 seconds right now as they run behind him. Chris Long, Jeremy West, and James Howard, all spreading out a little bit here for the battle in the pro category.
Yeah, Harry, he looks aggressive. This is going to end in tears, isn't it? He's side by side with a huge move up the inside there. There's still side by side incredible racing action here as Alex Trevor along with R.A.W.S around the outside here, and surely R.A.W.S is going to have this position going into the next corner here, down through the left-hander. What a race this has been as we go through the chute, through into tow. Job done for R.A.W.S.
Yeah, and that was all just setting up that move. I think he knew the track was going to switch back to him there through the chute, and so absolutely perfectly set that up. Here is Blumenkrantz as Shea Spetkaraju there is able to get on by him and get back into the lead. Shea's going to be very, very happy. The pretty okay-ish motorsports driver in the number 79. Let's check out this replay. It looks like a pretty simple out-braking maneuver going down into the inner loop. Indeed, Shea's later on the binders and forces that brightly liveried number 79 on through.
Wow. amazing stuff. You'd honestly think that we've only got 10 minutes left to go in this race, such has been the amount of chaos and action we've had, but indeed we've actually still got another half an hour to go of this. I'm going to have to go and get the energy drink on supply here, because it's just been manic, the pace and the aggression shown by a lot of these drivers. I mean, the thing is as well, DJ, we've already lost about 10 drivers from this race.
Yes, indeed, we have attrition proving to be very high here at Watkins Glen, and that coming back to bite quite a few drivers. We're going to have to see if that continues on through the rest of the race. Jeremy R.A.W.S here, the latest to find himself under a little bit of pressure, with James Howard and Dean Timms starting to close down behind them.
Just watching how this is developing is fascinating as well, because you think you know how this is all going to unfold and you've got really absolutely no idea. What I am noticing though is the fact that R.A.W.S, Howard and Timms here all start to close together. That's allowing potentially Chase Wilson to catch up in that 6th position, so we'll see how that goes down. But yeah, look, I cannot take my eyes off this race here, DJ.
Nor can I. It is absolutely electric, really all the way down through the field. And this battle in particular, one of the ones that is most significant. Sean Campbell, by the way, back down in 10th place right now as he tries to work his way forward. And I think here for Harry Wills, what he is really focused on here at this point, or excuse me, Dean Timms here at this point is trying to catch back up to everybody else and keep this competitive. Remember, Dean's having a little bit of a problem early on. Harry Wills does have about 9 seconds up the road to Reese Newburn, but he needs to try to keep that gap as big as possible between himself and Sean Campbell.
Yeah, and we've reached that stage in the race, and this was always going to happen when you have a 10-minute, 15-minute period that opens up the race. It's just chaos and everything, going on at the same time. When you get this point, you're kind of like, well, okay, what now then? It's sort of like the lull before the storm here, as we cut back to the battle here with Michael Fowler and Michael Kalaga. And again, this is, when we talk about racing being this 3D chess match here, DJ, oh my goodness me, was that Heb having a huge moment as Dan Canorio into the pit lane. When we're likening racing to a chess match, this is, you're scouting the board, you're looking for where you can move your next piece, and you've got maybe sort of 10-15 minutes in which you can have a think about that and plot out your next move. You're not in a position where you have to force things right now.
No, you're certainly not. And when you've got this longer race, still 30 minutes to go, remember, you can really be planning ahead, thinking about that move. Remember what we saw Harry Wills be able to do, sending that car down to the inside through the inner and outer loop and really positioning himself for a run down into the laces of the boot. That's exactly what you've got to be able to do to set everything up, to keep everything going, and to make sure that you are able to continue moving your way forward.
Just watching how things are developing here. With 20 minutes gone in the race, DJ, I'm wondering, did you ever see anything like that coming? Because we were talking, of course, about on the build-up to the race about how you've kind of got to be in it and keeping your nose clean within the first 10 minutes. But some of these drivers, I think, were struggling to keep their nose clean for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising, David. I'm not going to lie. I definitely thought the drivers were going to be a little bit more calm, cool, and collected, thinking further ahead into the race as they ran it. And so I think for them that they just kind of got a little bit ahead of themselves. Sometimes when you run in the opening stages of the race, you've got to think, I've got to make up all these positions as quickly as possible, and sometimes that's just not attainable.
Yeah, no, I have to completely agree with you. The other thing that's done is, and again, this is something that we brought up on the EU race, with this second race of the evening going through that reverse grid as well. The one thing we normally presume is, the faster guys are at the back of the grid, but that doesn't give them carte blanche. That doesn't give them, this God-given right to be able to cut their way through the field. They still have to work and they still have to fight, and sometimes that doesn't happen. We're seeing that now with the likes of Sean Campbell still stuck down in what is now 9th position after finally getting past Alex Traber there.
Yeah, and crucially here, I think, for Campbell right now, that car that's directly up ahead of him, that is your championship leader, Harry Wills, who has a little bit of a sketchy moment there coming up over turn 9. And Wills, this was the battle that we saw rage earlier on in the previous race. And as we've certainly said, some bad luck catching Campbell out, pushing him down the order a little bit. But right now, he's certainly on his way.
Yeah, that's going to be the key thing here, but now we're starting to see all these little gaps tightening up. Chase Wilson now getting caught up by R.A.W.S. Newburn as well. Harry Wills is up there. That also means that Sean Campbell is there. That also now means that R.A.W.S. is up here as well. So this now leading itself to potentially what is going to be another one of these flashpoints here, BJ. You don't want to be getting all of these cars up together. And also, I just realised as well, the battle for second place now is on as well, because Chris Long is struggling. He's got Jeremy R.A.W.S. and that looks like James Howard just behind him as well. So we've gone from having little gaggles of cars here now to having what looks like potentially a 6-car battle for well, it's not going to be for third place because we've obviously got Chase Wilson's 4 seconds away, but it just feels like Chris is backing these drivers up.
I have to agree with you there. The number 90 not looking like he's in complete and total control of the field right now. R.A.W.S. trying to close in behind there, and Howard definitely closing in as well, not to mention Dean Timms there behind. This could certainly erupt into a battle. We really have these two trains that are starting to form here at this point. The one being led right now by Chris Long, and the other one being led by Chase Wilson back for 6th place. So these both are going to be some massive flashpoints here in the early stages of the race.
What a brilliant battle this is, though, for 6th position. Chase Wilson in the TR Geeks Energy sim racing machine ahead of R.A.W.S. Newburn, Harry Wills and Sean Campbell. You get the feeling with these drivers, with their reputation and with their history, at least one of these drivers is going to be facing into the barrier in the next 10 minutes right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that, as well as you can also see there right in the tail end of that battle, that is Sean Campbell right up behind the rear bumper of Harry Wills as they run very, very close to one another. I'm going to be interested to see if Campbell goes. That's going to be a little bit of a defensive move from Wills, maybe defensive, offensive, almost into the side there of Cam up to Newburn, and that's going to sacrifice the position. Harry Wills, now he's lost one to Campbell. He may lose another one here to Trevor as they run down through the outer loop.
Oh, there we go. That's exactly what I was warning about. The whole thing of I don't get it. I really, really don't get why they're so aggressive at this stage of the race. They've still got a fair way to go here. But yeah, look, that was a great move by Sean Campbell to take advantage of what happened there.
Yeah, it was. Harry Wills just getting pushed offline there a little bit by an overly aggressive maneuver, and that allowed him to slip on by. Good heads up from the Lamborghini driver for the RSR by butt kicker machine, and now it's going to be Campbell up ahead of him that's going to be looking at the back of Newburn. Wills, meanwhile, has to look in the rearview mirror as Trevor is all over his rear bumper.
But the thing is that I've got no doubt that Wills will be able to catch back up, especially when you look at this, especially when you see R.A.W.S. Newburn. Watch Sean Campbell though, watch the mannerisms of that car, watch the body language of that car. So aggressive, so impatient, wants to get that car past, gets it done. But here comes Harry Wills as well. He's going to want to make this move stick very quickly, and in fact actually both Newburn and Harry Wills getting a good tow up the hill here.
Yes, they are. They're getting a nice little heaping of the draft, and we've talked about that from time to time over the course of this race, that it's absolutely crucial. Wills now is going to look to the inside there of the inner loop as they go down the backstretch. I think he's going to have his nose ahead, and that's how you do it there, Harry, able to get that move done nice and cleanly this time through, and now he's going to put his eyes on the back of that Lamborghini.
How he's gone from being so far back, being about a second or so back, to right back onto the tail bumper of Sean Campbell. That was all about that earlier move there. Fabian Ponce there has had another huge moment there. He is off, and that looks like that is going to be into the second to last corner there. So yeah, you hate to see that, but back to this battle with Sean Campbell and R.A.W.S. I get the feeling that if Chase Wilson gets taken by Sean Campbell, then R.A.W.S. is going to have a really hard time right now.
I have to agree with you there. I think Campbell wants to be able to get by Wilson here at this point and scamper off into the distance, and Wills in turn wants him to be held up as much as possible. But looking at the body language, as you said, of that Lamborghini, that car is hungry here at this point. Has to check himself up a little bit, though, coming out of the final corner, and that's going to put him on the defensive. You can see the 26 coming down to the inside line. Harry Wills is ahead by the time they get down into the 90, and that is moved done and dusted for Harry Wills, taking advantage there of Sean Campbell's misfortune. But Campbell not ready to be done yet. He's going to fight back as they go side by side up the S's.
Somebody please tell me what on earth is actually going on with this race here. It is just madness. It has been wall-to-wall madness for the past 28 minutes. I've got no doubt that it's going to go exactly the same way, still side by side then. R.A.W.S. and Sean Campbell then. You've got action going on behind as Newbert and Traber still going at it as well. And R.A.W.S. is successful in holding on to that position. But the thing that caught me off guard was the pace difference that R.A.W.S. had. It made me believe that Sean Campbell might have had a bit of a slowdown earlier on, but now that doesn't matter. Now they've eyes forward. They've got to look at Chase Wilson and make sure that they can get past him. Meanwhile, while all this is going wrong, as Sean Campbell just fires it in there, DJ, with so much extra pace, so much extra momentum here. R.A.W.S. is kind of caught off guard by that one. He's pushing as hard as he can here, but Sean Campbell, I mean, you said the words hungry. I think more ravenous is the word there. R.A.W.S., that was in American football they call that what's that, a shoulder tackle.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. A little bit of a how you doing there for Sean Campbell. And look at that, already back up behind Wilson, wants to make up for that position. Let's see if he learned his lesson a little bit and doesn't get checked up here as they make their way through the corner, going to the outside, and that is going to be Chase Wilson diving down pit lane. We do expect pit stops to fire off over the course of this race, and so it looks like there that Wilson had enough, decided to dive on into the pits. That was Harry Wills, a little bit off the apex there through the 90. And there you can see that replay of that hip check there from Sean Campbell, just sort of banking him out to the outside there a little bit more, and Campbell doing exactly what I think he wanted to do, which is try to streak away off into the distance right now, and he is certainly doing that, just that. Harry Wills, though, kicking up a little bit of grass there going through the exit of the inner loop, but certainly trying to get going.
Goodness me, I mean, it feels like a million years ago when I was saying about R.A.W.S. being his own worst enemy, man. He just pushing that car so hard. You can see the tail end flicking from left to right as he's trying to bend that car to whatever he wants it to do, and it's working for the most part. He is ridiculously fast with this just now, but there's only so many lives you're going to get with this car and this Mercedes. It's the worst one in terms of having this lazy spin. The back end spins up. You hear the traction control trying to kick into place here, and it just goes on and on and on. And honestly, I think now it's kind of game over. Sean Campbell looks to have been able to stretch away now.
Yeah, he certainly has. Campbell looking down to the inside there of some lap traffic, and as you said, those lazy spins there, as Campbell now going to be the latest to come down pit lane, just over the 30-minute mark to go here in this race. Campbell opting to come down here. Fuel-only pit stops we anticipate here for the drivers. Dean Timms also coming down pit lane here as well. So it looks like there are multiple drivers opting to come in. Mark Chapman also appearing to be coming in as a few drivers choose to do it. It looks like here that Wills and Boss, Long, R.A.W.S, Newbern, Trevor, and Urexoy all just trying to extend this as long as possible. Run those fuel tanks to the dry minimum.
Yeah, but we saw that getting caught out in race 1 though, didn't we? Where drivers were trying to push it as much as they can and getting caught out. At least 2 drivers running out of fuel. We believe that was why one of the front runners ended up having to come into the pits on the final lap of the race. But back up to the front end, Chris Long in second place here, just ahead of Jeremy R.A.W.S here. but surely the attention has to be on this man here, onto Kyle Boss, who has made it look very, very straightforward indeed right now.
Yeah, he certainly has, holding on a gap right now of about, call it 15 seconds, 14 seconds and change over the rest of the field. Kyle Boss just looking like he is absolutely in control of this race. No intention of pitting there on that time by. He's going to keep going here for another lap as we tick past 32 and a half minutes gone in this race. Waiting to see for the rest of the field if they are going to respond on the likes of Dean Timms and Sean Campbell. It does look like Chris Long is going to be the latest to come down pit lane.
There is an interesting development. See that Dean Timms ahead of Sean Campbell after the pit stops here, so this is potentially huge. Chris Long is now into pit lane as well then, so the thing is for Sean Campbell, the longer that he gets held up behind Dean Timms here, this is going to cost him huge amounts of time. This could be Harry Wills' moment to actually make a move on the undercut here.
Yeah, it certainly could be, and the question here for Wills is how long he wants to stretch it and how aware he is of these cars running in the position that they are. It's going to be a little bit interesting to see Campbell now moving to the inside of Timms, trying to make it work down to the inside. He's going to back out of it, though, and opt to not go for the pass down into the 90.
Which is a shame, really, because you kind of want to see what would have happened there as you've got another car just coming out of pit lane. That was Chris Long actually in the number 90 BMW, so he's onto this tail action as well. So there we go, Sean Campbell still fighting it out side by side with Dean Timms here, and again the more these two fight, the more that's going to bring Chris Long into this equation as well. That's a disastrous stop for Chris Long. He was up into second or third position now, and you know, he's come back behind this little battle here. That is not what you wanted to happen.
No, it looks like he was about 6 or so seconds longer in the box than most of your other competitors out there. The average pit stop time that we're seeing is about 15 to 16 seconds long, stationary in the box for a whole 21 seconds. As Kyle Boss and Jeremy R.A.W.S. both coming down pit lane, is this the end of the fuel window? Is Harry Wills also going to be coming down here as well? Alex Trebor looks like he's going to be the latest. So I think this is the end of the fuel window here at about minute 35.
Well, that is a very, very interesting little statistic if that is the case then, because that's a lot shorter than I thought that was actually going to be. So again, we have to see what happens here. So Kyle Boss already on his way out. We knew that lead was very, very comfortable indeed. He's already about 1/5 of the way around the lap right now, but again it's about everybody else. Jeremy R.A.W.S. coming out of pit lane, he's going to get overtaken by James Howard and Sean Campbell. So now Jeremy R.A.W.S. coming out there just ahead, so this is going to be very, very tight as they come up the hill here, but I think Jeremy R.A.W.S. might be able to hold on to that second place. No, James Howard goes to take it. They're still going to be side by side though.
Yes, indeed, as the S's favor one driver than the other. It's now an all-out drag race going down into the inner loop, trying to see what's between them. Absolutely nothing. It's going to be down onto the binders. Neither car giving way, and that's going to be R.A.W.S. sliding off into the catch area there. He's going to be able to keep it pointed the right direction, but lost bukus of time to Sean Campbell.
Yeah, that was pretty difficult to watch though. Sean Campbell now right onto the tail end of that machine. Dean Timms out there as well, but Harry Wills has kind of been caught out with that right there. He is quite a way back now, 3.5 seconds behind the battle for 4th and 5th position, so that again has been a proper dent to the blow there, and now that means that Sean Campbell right onto the back of Jeremy R.A.W.S. here. And again, James Howard isn't out of touch with this little battle as well here. So Kyle Boss is 18 seconds up the road. I think that's safe, given that it's 14 minutes left to go here. But Sean Campbell in with a sniff of getting second place here.
was already been able to get by Jeremy R.A.W.S. There you can see Dean Timms lurking in the background ever so slightly as he runs around right now, and that is going to be crucial here. If Campbell is able to pick up a couple of positions over his championship rival, that will certainly do him well. Dean Timms just trying to salvage the bleeding here a little bit as they run, as he runs in 5th. Harry Wills back in 6th right now, about 2 seconds in between both of them as they run.
Just moving a little bit further back here, you can see James Costa actually down in that 11th position. He's just behind Will Lindley, but also just ahead of R.A.W.S. Now, believe it or not, we actually still have a driver who hasn't pitted, who is pitting now. Your AM leader, Michael Kulaga, into the pit lane. He is going to lose, obviously, the lead of this race because Shes Venkataraju is going to regain the lead of the race, and it's a healthy lead that Shes has actually got by about 18 seconds or so. So yeah, this could be absolutely huge for the lead of the AM race itself.
I think you're very right about that, and I think here we are seeing the birth of a new name to keep an eye out for in the AM category in the form of Shes Venkataraju there, as he is going to be one to keep our eyes on. Focusing a little bit further up in the field, though, this is Chase Wilson for the TR Geeks Energy Sim Racing, number 76, trying to hold off Alex Trebor. Trebor looking very good there as they come down through the heel of the boot. This is the battle right now for 8th place.
Again, there's so many battles kicking off all the way through the field right now. This, as you said, is the battle for 8th and 9th position. You can go a little bit further back and check out the battle for 10th here. This is 10th, 11th and 12th position. You've got R.A.W.S, Will Lindley in this, as well as James Costa. So really, I mean, everybody having to fight tooth and nail just to get any sort of result at all right now.
Yeah, they very much are, and only about 11 minutes left to go here in this race as everyone continues to work their way around. Lindley looking like he's able to hold off that BMW of R.A.W.S for the moment, but not sure how close that's going to be able to come down to in the closing stages. The BMW looks like he was able to get a little bit of a better run there through the 90, going to try to pull up as much as possible and take full advantage of the draft coming up through the S's.
Momentum is such a key part, DJ, of this track. You have to get the run, and the run is so important. That's exactly what we're seeing here from R.A.W.S. He has a little look up to the inside. They're never ever going to work from that distance back, but again, the fight now a lot closer than it was, and it all started coming up through that hill here. Also looking to the battle with James Howard and Sean Campbell. This, you honestly get the feeling, and as much as I love all the battling and stuff like that, you do get an air of inevitability about this move by Sean Campbell.
Yeah, most certainly. You get the sense that it is a matter of if, or a matter of when, not if here, as Campbell takes a peek down to the inside, going into the penultimate corner. He is not waiting around at all, gets the move done, and moves that Lamborghini up into 2nd place.
Jeez, there's no chill from this guy. It's just every single opportunity, bang, 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 like a machine. Straight in, take the position, thank you very much, and see you later, good night. That's exactly what Sean Campbell is saying with every single one of these overtakes. Remember, he started way down the order there, so for Sean Campbell to get up at the 2nd place, that is a minor feat in no uncertain terms.
Exactly. He is absolutely on a charge and willing to prove it as much as possible, as there is Campbell working his way through the inner loop, starting to put a little bit distance. He is your biggest mover of the race thus far, up a whopping 15 positions on the day. Obviously, a little bit of attrition coming in to help him out with that, but that has really been the sheer pace of the RSR by butt kicker Lamborghini out there today. We check back on that battle with Lindley and R.A.W.S right now. Also, James Costa, looking back behind there, the two Twisted Racing Team drivers. R.A.W.S thinking about a little bit of move down there into the inside of the inner loop, but not going to happen right now for the 63.
Yeah, for sure. He wants it to happen. He's probably willing it to happen, but does he need it to happen? I mean, we're fighting for P9, P10, 11 and 12 here, with 9 minutes, 8 minutes left to go in a race here. I'd be of the mindset that it's time to calm down and just secure the position that you've got here. If you think that you can honestly go for Will Lindley here, then by all means. But it's always that delicate balancing act, isn't it? Between, can I get another position, or am I going to end up putting the car into the wall?
Yeah, exactly. And especially with only 8 minutes left to go, if you are in a good position to score a good haul of points, you do not want to throw that away quite so early. And here is another battle that we have up in the pro category, which is Howard right now, or excuse me, Chase Wilson, who continues to hold off Alex Treber right now. These two dueling Mercedes, they have been locked step pretty much since the drop of the green flag here.
Yeah, and again, it's just been this very patient game from the likes of Wilson and from Trevor as well. So the two of them really shown a great deal of patience and understanding about just how long this 50 minutes can actually be, because it always surprises me, DJ, about how many people misunderstand how long 50 minutes is in terms of a race. There's so much you can squeeze into that, and my goodness me, I think we've definitely squeezed in our money's worth tonight on this one. And that is a car going off at the exit of the right-hander there. I think that was actually a back marker.
Yeah, it was a back marker, one of the Ferraris. I believe that may have actually been potentially John Casey or Matthew Plaisance, so I'll have to go back and double check. But here is another little Mercedes versus Mercedes battle. Dean Timms and Harry Wills as they run line astern right now. Timms leading Wills. Timms down 4 positions on the start of the day. Harry Wills up 10 as they run, so definitely moving his way up through the field. Timms would like to be able to close up behind and get that pass done here in about the last 6.5 minutes if he can.
Absolutely riveting is all this action. It's unbelievable, and it's going to be fantastic to watch these two, Dean Timms against Harry Wills, two of the Brits going for it toe to toe here. Just a brilliant race here as Wills gets the inside line. To be honest, I think Timms was just like, yeah, you have that, mate, I'm kind of done here.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of move. You saw Timms get a little bit off of the apex there, coming down through the 90, just missed the corner ever so slightly, and I think he recognized the writing on the wall. We focus back on the battle for P10 right now. Urexoy trying to be able to close down on the back of Will Lindley. Looking like he's got a halfway decent run coming up through the S's. I don't think there's going to be enough speed in that BMW to truly close the gap right now, but he is certainly going to be pushing to try to see what he can. We ride on board with the Twisted Racing Orange number 63 as he closes down into the braking zone, able to get a little bit closer, but not close enough to quite get that move done.
Man, that's amazing to see just how close that car can get right to the back of Will Lindley. And Lindley looks like he's actually struggling a little bit with the pressure right now. Urexoy is able to maintain that constant pressure, and Lindley, that car's starting to slide about, which for me would suggest that it's been overdriven quite considerably from Will Lindley. But all he's got to do is hold on for another 4 and a bit minutes here, and he will be absolutely golden.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do here at this point. But as you said, one of the things that we haven't really talked about over the course of the race is tire wear. And while we do not anticipate any drivers making stops for tires, so there you see Rexoy poking his nose down into 9. Wow, almost avoiding contact there, just barely. But you've got to watch out for the tires. Oh my goodness, that's Jeremy West around!
And James Howard as well. So that has been a big accident coming up here. So this is down into turn 1 then. And that looks like, is that Howard going slow? Oh my god! That is a monstrous crash there from Jeremy R.A.W.S. It looks like he possibly just locked up the brakes there.
Yeah, I think he got out onto the outside grass is what happened, may have tipped it, and that's what tipped the car around and sent him on a one-way collision course. Let's watch from on board here as he lines up for the corner. Yep, there it is. He caught the grass, David. That is what caused that incident. Out of control there, desperately trying to hold on to the brakes, not run into the side of Howard, and unfortunately nowhere for the two Mercedes to go.
Yeah. That is going to be rest day done and dusted. So gutting to see that is over in such a dramatic way, as we've got more action going on right now because Lindley, Urexoy, and that looks like James Costa has joined the little party up here as well. But we've now got, what, 3.25 minutes left to go in the race here. How much more drama can we squeeze into a 50-minute race, do you think?
I'm not sure, but these drivers are going to try to keep us on our toes. As now it looks like Urexoy is under a little bit of pressure there from James Costa behind as they run down through turn 8 and up into turn 9 against some lap traffic right up in front of them as they come through the corners. That could present a little bit of a hassle here for them as they go. Let's see what happens. That is John Casey in the 046 Racing Ferrari. That's going to slow down the 10th place car there, the 8th place car of Lindley. He's going to have to go the long way around. That's going to set up a run for Urexoy, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Well, not as much as I thought it would have, actually. I think he was caught out quite a little bit coming out of that final corner, but look at how much pace R.A.W.S is able to get on Lindley just out of one corner alone. I mean, it looks almost hopeless, and then you see that one corner and you're like, oh, right, okay, well, it's I guess it's on already.
Exactly, as they only have about 2 minutes left to go in this race as they run, and I can report that Kyle Boss is going to be coming out of turn 9 right now. Looks like Andrew Hewitt's had another little of a problem out on track as they run. I'm looking here at the timing. I think this is going to be white flag for your leader, so only about a lap to go here at Watkins Glen, and indeed it is white flag in the air from Marty the Flagman. 1 lap to go.
Wow, 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 wow. I never in a million years would have called this race anywhere near the way that it is gone tonight, but my goodness me, are they earning their pennies out there tonight for this race. Brilliant to see so many teams being very well represented, and you know, we're joking about a war of attrition. 23 cars out of 38. We've lost 15 cars, almost a third of the field. I mean, that is just bonkers in terms of the numbers. But again, it shows this sort of pace and you know how rough you have to be to stay up here with the big boys and girls.
Indeed you do. You have got to put it all out on the line as we follow our closest battle right now up in the pro category. Lindley leading Urexoy, leading Costa as they cross over the line to get the white flag from Barney here. Not a whole lot of time left on the clock. We've got to think that Urexoy is want to try to get a move on, but right now here is your leader, Kyle Boss, the Michigander, as he comes out of the toe going down into the heel right now. Only about 3 more corners to go for your leader.
And what a performance it's been for Kyle Boss. He got the early performance, he got the early push, pit stops worked out to perfection, stretched out the gap to about 18 seconds. Sean Campbell, to his credit, has been able to take quite a few seconds out of that lead, but it is all about Kyle Boss as he comes round the final corner here.
Yes, he is already flashing the headlights there as he comes out of that final corner, crossing over to the start-finish line. The number 2 of Kyle Boss will take his first victory here on the season and will win in the feature race of round 3. A great run there for the number 2. We've got to wait a good long while for Sean Campbell to close in behind before he takes the checkered flag up 15 positions on the day. It's going to be Dean Timms who rounds out your podium, coming home 3rd.
Brilliant to see as well, and again, a lot of the cars already a lap down, so the arm battle, you know, that's all been settled for example here, but my eyes are drawn to this one. Will Lindley against R.A.W.S again. I think it's too much of a gap for anything to be decided on this final lap here. Great result, great performance from every single one of these drivers. They're all going to be absolutely delighted. But here is your AM leader right now with just 2 corners left to go.
Yes, indeed, Chase here looking for the second podium and the first victory here for the newcomer into the series. Will cross over the line in that number 79 Mercedes to take victory at Watkins Glen and clearly cement themselves as a contender in the AM category here early on. Mark Chapman's going to cross over to come home 11th in the pros.
here comes then Andrew Rasmussen. Brilliant performance for Andrew to get the second position, and you've got to say so comfortably as well. Justin Delano in third position there was about 13 seconds behind there, but across the line. And DJ, I mean, I just my head has exploded with just how much action we've just literally witnessed out there.
Absolutely insane amount of action all over the track, and that's going to bring us to our final finishing order here. As we said, it was Kyle Boss able to take victory from Sean Campbell and Harry Wills, rounding out your podium positions. It looks like Dean Timms, then Reese Newburn round out your top 5 with Chase Wilson, Alex Trevor, Will Lindley, Ariel Rexoy, and James Costa in the top 10. Mark Chapman able to come home in 11th, the last driver on the lead lap, and then we get into some of the drivers that had trouble out there today. Howard, R.A.W.S, Tenorio, Long, DL, Littleton, and Fisher round out your finishing order in the pro category. Moving on to the AM category, it was Sheas that was able to take that victory yet again. Andrew Rasmussen coming home in second, Justin Delano rounding out your podium. It was Michael Kulaga in third, followed by Eric Blumenkrantz with Matthew Plaisance, John Casey, Drew Neubauer, Daniel Fleuret, and Charles Bushell rounding out your top 10. Again, now getting into some of the drivers that had a little bit of problems as they ran. That includes Heb, Hurl, Metzger, Ponce, Carollo, Fowler, Hewitt, and Kulaga, as well as Braden Maling. And my goodness, David, we can't keep talking about it, but an incredible race out there. And just your final thoughts on the day.
I think we could talk about it all night if we were able to, but yeah, look, that was an amazing day out at the races here at Watkins Glen. Again, chalk and cheese given the differences between the EU contingent, where things, you know, there was maybe a handful of incidents, but nothing like what we just saw tonight. I don't know if it's the US group tend to push it that little bit harder, but my God, that was entertaining to watch, and yeah, really enjoyed it. And as always, DJ, just an absolute privilege to be in the box with yourself.
An absolute privilege on my end as well, being able to share the booth with you. This was round 3 of the Race Anywhere World Series League GT Series, and we will be back next week from Imola. That's right, we changed things up a little bit and get to the tight and twisty confines of that Italian circuit. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us here today on behalf of myself, DJ Clark, and David Christie. Once again, thank you for watching, and until we see you on the track, thank you for watching.